Hey, to everybody, a happy Backlash Day, or as I call it, Whacklash, because most of this card is wiggity wiggity whack. But that's another story. Such is life, such is the WWE. Now, I don't have a lot of time today to play. I'm only given about 20 minutes of recess time today. But that should be enough for the Amplified Man to break down this event and give you guys the necessary information match-wise that you'll need to proceed. Then the next time I'll see you guys will be the good, the bad, and the ugly review tomorrow morning. Nobody in this community does pay-per-view reviews like the Amplified Man. But first, before we get going, that's right, I say it might be finished, but I saved the last one for you guys. Just like Popeye needs his spinach, BC needs his gasoline. So before we get amplified, let me just salute to every single AMP unit member out there. The warning sequence, and then we get into this preview for Backlash. Alright. You guys remember what movie that's from? Hey man, I got shotgun, man. I called it. Check you later. Dazed and Confused, man. One of my favorite movies. It's about a group of students. It's their last day of school, and it's just a wild night, man. I wanted to live vicariously through them on that night. Since I first saw that movie, and I probably watched it about 1,000 times since. And I still want to live a night like that. I've partied many nights, many months, many years of my life I have partied. Never like that. Anyway, Backlash, Whacklash. Let's start. There's 7 matches on the card. United States Championship matchup is what we'll start with. This is Champion Apollo taking on challenger Andrade. 2 good wrestlers, so no doubt it could be a good match. But it's like getting a hooker for the night. Sure, it'll do the job, but afterwards you'll forget about it, right? I mean, what is this really gonna do for us? If this seems like a Monday Night Raw matchup at best, it's because it is a Monday Night Raw matchup at best. Nothing about Apollo and Andrade screams pay-per-view, right? No good storytelling was put into this. Nothing that we're actually looking forward to. Nothing that's exciting us. It's the same equivalent to getting a hooker for the night. She'll do the job, but you'll forget about her an hour later. This is the same thing with Apollo and Andrade. They will do the job because they're 2 good wrestlers. So you'll get a good wrestling match. Yay! I can get a damn great wrestling match down at the local bingo hall with my local pizza delivery guy wrestling, Luigi Lugnuts. Last night, he just won a handicap match against Fuckwad Fred and Danny Dipshit Dugenheimer. Don't underestimate my local pizza delivery guy. Salut, Luigi! So that's Andrade and Apollo. You know, the best we can hope for here is that they deliver what we know they're capable of, which is a good wrestling match. Moving on. The women's tag title match. This is champion Sasha Banks and Bayley taking on challengers Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross and challengers the Iconics. I literally like every female in this match. I actually love Sasha Banks. You guys know that. But as far as the 5 other females in this match, I like everybody. But that doesn't mean I like the concept of this match. You want the tag titles to be taken seriously, yet you continue to have multi-team schmaz matches. It's like telling your girlfriend that you want to be in a committed relationship, and then an hour later you're begging for a threesome. Which is it? Committed? Or you want to have multiple people involved? You claim that you want to raise the standard in the tag division for the ladies. Yet you keep on throwing multiple teams in there. To actually make a division, You have to have champions and number one contenders. But if everybody is a number one contender, you're not building shit. Let's be honest. You just have a bunch of people involved in your title picture at all times. Well, that's not a committed relationship. Sasha and Bayley should be either taking on, whether we like it or not, the Iconics 2-on-2 or Alexa and Nikki 2-on-2. But we see this in the men's tag division as well. We see this in every title picture usually, where they just throw multiple people in. In fact, I'm about to get to a Universal Championship match where they did the same thing. Why have one person? Let's throw everybody in there. It takes less effort for us to think about it. And there's more moving parts, so even if it goes off the track, nobody will notice. There's so many bodies out there. You're committed to the tag division or you're not. This clearly tells me they are not committed to the tag division and building it up. You want to make it a serious division, but you're not giving it the time and attention it needs. Well, as fans, as journalists, as critics, as analysts, we all can see what is going on, man. It's evident. They don't care about it. Why should the fans? I'm hoping it's at least entertaining. Like I said, I like every single one of these females. I think every single one of them has an entertaining factor to them. You put it together, I don't see a great wrestling match. I don't even see a good wrestling match here. But hopefully it's at least entertaining. It's the best I got for you. It's the most honest I can tell you. Next up is a grudge match. This is Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus. They went all out with the storytelling in this one. I mean, you had a car wrapped around a tree. You had a guy laid out in the middle of the road who was later taken to the hospital. You had a guy getting arrested. You got a dude in the middle of the ring taking a piss test. You have another guy getting urine thrown in his face. I mean, this story had a little bit of everything. But at the end of the day, it's just Jeff Hardy and Sheamus. It's like those bitch boy Bradens that drive around in a Corvette or a Mustang. You guys know who I'm talking about. You know, there's always, it just screams douche. You got this Corvette driving around the block and this Mustang, and it's flashy, and they're trying to get all the attention. And then when it parks and the person gets out, it's usually a little pipsqueak, right? I mean, you see this flashy car and then you see this little nerdy Norton get out. Well, that's the same thing here, right? You have this flashy story going on. And the story here is the Corvette, right? The Corvette is riding around. You got all of these moving parts of this story. But when the Corvette parks, when the storyline is now culminating, who gets out of the car? It's Jeff Hardy and Sheamus. I mean, is that captivating you? I don't know, the eye of the beholder. By the way, Sheamus and Jeff Hardy riding around in a Corvette, they wouldn't be pipsqueaks. That's the analogy I'm using though. The story has been flashy. Can Jeff Hardy and Sheamus actually live up to the hype of the story? I mean, it has created controversy. It has people talking. This story has been dedicated, or a lot of time has been dedicated to the story. But when the car parked, at the end of the day, it's Jeff Hardy and Sheamus getting out of it. I mean, is the match gonna live up to the story itself? I have my reservations about that. We'll see. The Raw Women's Championship up next. This is what I have as the fourth match spot. By the way, this is in no particular order. Obviously, WWE will have this all over the place. But this is Raw Women's Champion Asuka taking on challenger Nia Jax. This is like driving your precious Audi or your Lexus or your Mercedes or whatever luxury vehicle of your choice and driving it right into the Grand Canyon, right? I mean, your Audi it works beautifully. Your Lexus is pristine. Your Mercedes is flawless. So why would you drive it into rough terrain, rugged terrain, disastrous terrain like the Grand Canyon? Why would you take your luxury vehicle and drive it into the Grand Canyon? Well, for me, Asuka is the luxury vehicle and Nia Jax is the Grand Canyon. Nothing good comes out of this. Nothing good comes from taking your luxury car and driving it into the Grand Canyon. Nothing good comes from Asuka having a match with Nia Jax. It's not going to be a good match. We know that. No offense to Nia Jax, but it's Asuka and Nia Jax. I would like to say Asuka could have a great match with a broomstick, but the fact is, I just don't see a great match or even a good match happening with Asuka and Nia Jax. So I don't see a good match happening. I also, let's be honest, there's a 50% chance that Asuka could get injured in this match. I mean, she is taking on, she injures most girls. So there's that probability. On top of that, are people excited to see Asuka and Nia Jax? I have the answer because that's rhetorical. Of course not. Nothing good comes from this. You're taking your luxury vehicle and you're driving it right into the Grand Canyon. Why? Because Nia Jax is obviously a stepping stone here, I understand. There's no way Nia Jax wins this championship. Asuka just got it a couple weeks ago in a huge moment when Becky Lynch said she's leaving WWE. And Asuka gets the championship for what? To give it to Nia Jax a few weeks later? Stop it. Or else that would be one of the most foolish things WWE has ever done. And trust me, there is a laundry list of foolish things that WWE has done. This would be near the top of the list if Jax was to walk out with the championship. Stop it. I just would not take somebody like Asuka and have her in there with Nia Jax. I would take Nia Jax off the road, retrain her, and bring her back maybe in a year and a half if she has drastically improved. But Asuka doesn't deserve the same fate as fucking Kyrie. Or the 13 individuals that got injured beforehand. Moving on. Universal Championship. This is Braun Strowman, the champion, taking on Miz and Morrison. I'm hoping that if I was to ask you to pour a bowl of Fruit Loops, right? You take your Fruit Loops, you put in your milk, you put some tuna fish in there. That's right, you heard me correct. Put some tuna fish in your bowl of Fruit Loops. Then I want you to pour some ketchup and some mayonnaise in it. And before you're about to eat it, I would hope you ask yourself two questions. Is this a good idea? And does this make sense? Right? I'm hoping that if a bowl of Fruit Loops with tuna fish, ketchup, and mayonnaise was in front of you, I'm hoping you would ask yourself, is this a good idea? And does this make sense? And any rational person with a brain in their dome piece would look at that bowl and say, no, this is not a good idea. This makes zero sense. It's Fruit Loops with tuna fish. Add a little ketchup and some mayonnaise, and that's not a good idea. I'm not doing that. Well, I equate that to the decision to have Braun take on Miz and Morrison. Somebody creatively decided that that might be a good idea. So they put all these ingredients together. They took the Universal Champion Braun Strowman, they put him in front of him. They said, Miz, we'll put you over here. You know what? We'll also take Morrison. We'll make this some weird handicap championship match. And before they approved it, they had to think about if that was really a good idea. I'm hoping they asked themselves those two questions. Is this a good idea? Does it make sense? And somehow Vincent Kennedy McMahon saw this in front of him and said, yes, this makes sense. Yes, this is a good idea. He's the type of guy that would have Fruit Loops with tuna fish, ketchup, and mayonnaise. Because that's what we have for a championship match. A schmaz. A handicap. Miz and Morrison are somehow number one contenders with an S for your top title in the company, along with the WWE title. Does it make sense? Even the casual fan will tell you this makes no sense. So just imagine somebody with a brain in their dome piece that has been watching for decades, a diehard fan that knows the ins and outs of the business. And we have to sit back and that's our entertainment. We have to believe that this is a true, legit championship match. And then they wonder why champions and championships are nothing but jokes these days. The belts are like toys. Literally, anybody that has a problem with people calling the championships and the titles belts and straps, that's the least of your worries. You should be concerned with the prestige of those titles, because there is none anymore. The champions are just as much of a clown show as the titles themselves. Then you have the WWE Championship match, the other title over there for the Raw brand. And this is champion Drew McIntyre taking on challenger Bobby Lashley. I like both of these dudes, and I actually wanted more out of their story. Unfortunately, WWE Creative didn't give us that. So I ask, what is there to look forward to? If Disney World or Universal Studios was to take away all of their rides and attractions, what do you have to look forward to if you're visiting the park? Sure, you could walk Disney World in the parks. Sure, you could walk around Universal. But if the rides and attractions are gone, you have nothing to look forward to. It's human nature. When we're on our journey to our destination, we're thinking about what we're looking forward to. So if you're driving to Universal, you're driving to Disney World, and you already know ahead of time that they canceled out the rides and attractions, you're not looking forward to anything. What, are you gonna walk around? You're gonna order some fucking Dole Whip? You're gonna get some fucking good juicy cheeseburgers next to the fucking Space Mountain that you can't ride? Come on, man. There's nothing to look forward to. You're not just gonna make the long journey to fucking Orlando to walk around the park. This had no creativity put into the actual story arc. I like both of these dudes, but if you're asking what are you looking forward to, there's been no rides and attractions in this story. Nothing. So while we were all on this journey to get to the destination of McIntyre versus Lashley, there was nothing to look forward to from the beginning. Now here we find ourselves the matches tonight. Nobody's excited because there's nothing to look forward to. Again, liking these two dudes does not equate to me looking forward to the match or being excited about it or thinking that anything great can come from it. They haven't given me any inkling to think such. You take away the rides and attractions out of a storyline, and when you get to the destination, nobody's having fun. This is how I look at this match. This is why there's no real spark for this match. This is why the community is not talking about this title match. It's not fun. And then, of course, you have the greatest wrestling match ever, supposedly. Edge versus Randy Orton. Well, if that's going to be the greatest wrestling match ever, then Doink the Clown is the greatest wrestler ever. How's that? BC, don't fucking pick on Doink. I love Doink, trust me. But if you're telling me this is going to be the greatest wrestling match ever, then I'm telling you Bastion Booger is the greatest wrestler ever. How about that? Duke the Dumpster Droese. Half of you guys don't even know who these people are, correct? Exactly, that's my point. There's no way this is going to be the greatest wrestling match ever. I don't even see this surpassing Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Macho Man Randy Savage at WrestleMania 3. It sure as hell is not going to beat Shawn Michaels and Undertaker WrestleMania 25, my favorite match of all time. I don't even see this beating Shawn Michaels Bret Hart WrestleMania 12, the Iron Man match, which is not one of my favorite ones, but I know it was damn good. I don't even see this surpassing that match. And I can name a laundry list of other matches I don't see this surpassing. They backed themselves into a corner. I think this started out as a troll job because so many people didn't like their WrestleMania match. So now these two veterans are giving a big fuck you to everyone who didn't like that match. Oh yeah? Well, now we're really gonna fuck with you. We're gonna give you another 35 to 40 minute match. And we're gonna call it the greatest wrestling match ever because we know you're gonna cry about it. And that's what everybody's doing. But then once the tears washed away, then we're just stuck with, wait, what are they really gonna do? I mean, they literally backed themselves into a corner. Now we know, or we believe that this was taped with the rest of Backlash, which was well over a week ago. Sorry guys, that's a spoiler. I was told that a lot of this shit is not live. It was taped over a week ago. Some of it may be live, we'll see. But I was told a lot was taped over a week ago, and Edge and Orton was one of those matches. So it could be very lengthy. They could go back and cut shit out. They could go and add shit. We're hearing reports that they tried their best to literally make this one of the greatest matches ever. I just don't see how that's even remotely possible, no matter what they pulled off. I feel they backed themselves into a corner. You know, they found themselves into a pickle. Wouldn't it be hilarious if, and again, we're already hearing reports that there was a lengthy match that was filmed, so there's no way this can happen, but wouldn't it be hilarious if when it came time for the match, one of them just lays down and does the job for the other, and the other one just puts his fucking finger on him, counts to 3, and all of a sudden we have a tag team. Rated RKO is back together or some shit. So instead of the greatest match ever, you didn't even get a match. Wouldn't it be hilarious if it was an ultimate troll job? Again, the match was already filmed supposedly, so that's not going to happen. But, I mean, if you're going to troll people, finish the job. You know what I mean? I would literally not even have a match. And then have them afterwards say it was the greatest thing. And just think Randy Orton and Edge together, man. I don't see it. Listen, the tag team division needs it. Look at the champions, the Street Profits, and one of the most feared tag teams, supposedly, they were supposed to be when they came to the roster, the Viking Raiders. Look at the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders. They're playing games the last 6 weeks. Literally, they're throwing axes, they're running sprints, they're playing basketball, they're bowling, they're playing golf, Monopoly, Battleship, Red Rover, send Street Profit, 1 over. Nobody knows what they're doing. The tag division is all but dead. It's not as bad as the women's tag division. I mean, that's completely non-existent, but where's the tag division? I mean, if you had Edge and Orton together, and let's be honest, when this is said and done for Edge and Orton, where's Orton going? We have seen for years now, Orton will be in a big storyline, and then when it's over, he disappears for 3 or 4 months. They have nothing for him. Then he shows up for another feud or 2 out of the year, and then he's back in irrelevancy. And we're talking Randy Orton, but it seems like he only has 1 or 2 big feuds a year. You know, and Edge is only going to wrestle a few times a year, so you could still do more with Orton singly, but when Edge is, I don't know, I think it would make a lot of sense even to have maybe a faction. Maybe you bring in 1 or 2 more people, right? Because Zelina Vega's faction is, It really never really got over with the fans. Seth Rollins' faction, there was high hopes with Murphy and Theory, but it's clear, it's not really getting over with the fans. You have Edge and Orton? Come on, man. We need something like Evolution. That was a faction where we clinged on to, you know? That was a faction where we were like, oh, they're cool, you know? It didn't even have to be in the NWO faction type or even D-Generation X. Just like an Evolution or even Legacy, which involved, that's what I'm saying, which involved Randy Orton. That was with Cody and Ted DiBiase Jr. You guys remember Legacy? I like that, man. Those were 3 good wrestlers. Even Ted DiBiase Jr. was showing potential. We knew Cody was a standout, and obviously Randy Orton, one of the best wrestlers in the world. Legacy was awesome. I think Edge and Orton could... All right, I could go on an hour talking about a little faction with Edge and Orton, but I just think that would be a cool troll job. But what we're hearing is that they actually put on a lengthy match. There's no way that this can go over good. You know what I mean? You're calling yourself the greatest match ever for over a month. Well, tonight it's put up or shut up time. Good luck doing that, buddy. Let's see where the fuck that goes. Listen, I gotta hit the road, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we will all culminate back together tomorrow morning for the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I assure you, as I said at the top of the program, there's nobody in the community that does pay-per-view reviews like the Amplified Man. If you're looking for dissection of every match, if you're looking for a full throttle, we do this together, finding out if it was good or bad a pay-per-view, this is the review you cannot miss. I assure you. And it's great to know that it's acclaimed in the community, man. You guys love this type of review, and I love giving it to you, man. It's honestly, it's something different, yes, but more importantly, it's the best way to review a pay-per-view. You know, when you literally break down match by match, and then you can add up the score at the end, I think that really is telling on how you look at a pay-per-view. Was it really good or bad, you know? So that's why I started this type of review. And to know that you guys love it means so much. So anyway, I'll see you guys in the morning. Hopefully I'll be in front of the camera too, because I want to do this up front with you guys. So yeah, I gotta go, man. Coffees and ass whoopings. See you in the morning. Check you.